Founded in 1980, Kobong was the first company in Korea to be granted permission for the manufacturing of electronic amusement machines, which it started exporting to Libya and Saudi Arabia in 1982. Kobong was one of 6 companies that joined Philcore in forming the Korean Computer Graphics Research Association in 1987. Kobong first made video game news in 1989, but not in a good way. The company was being sued by Victor, not the Japanese company but the Korean namesake. The Korean Computer Game Industrial Association accused Kobong of producing, selling and exporting illegal copies of the SNK game Mechanized Attack since April of that year, only 1 month after it was originally released. Perhaps to wash itself of that stain, the company changed its name to Comad in March 1990 and started creating original titles, at least for a few years, before reverting back to hacking other games. Comad is mostly known in the West for many raunchy variants of the game Quicks. According to Jan, a graphic designer for SS Mission, Gulf War II and Fantasia, these were made specifically for the overseas markets and not released in Korea, where they would not get past the rating board. Therefore, several of Comad's games have different versions for the Korean and overseas markets. Comad continued producing video games at least until 2009, mostly for the overseas market, but it is uncertain if and where these were released. Mechanical amusement remains the company's main business. Comad's first official game was Pushman, which they released in 1990. This was also licensed to American Sammy for release in the States. The game is a fairly interesting box puzzle game that has you pushing boxes into a hole in order to bridge the gap to the exit. As the levels progress, you end up with enemies that you can only kill by knocking them with a switch. However, they do respawn, which means killing them is not always the best objective if you can just dodge them. Not a bad first entry, and at least everything seems to be original. In 1991, Comad released Bouncing Balls. It didn't take them long to start stealing IPs, as this features Daffy Duck and Marvin the Martian. No way did Warner Bros. License out these characters to appear in an adult puzzle game. The idea is to have your balls add up to the value listed above the playing card. This is done by opening the gates to select the pit which the balls will automatically drop down into. If mathematics is your thing, you may get some enjoyment out of this one. Sometimes called Gulf War or Gulf War II, this 1991 offering steals quite a few assets from Seibu's Raiden game, such as the explosions, main bomb and power-up sound effects. I'm sure there are other stolen assets in here too. As for the game, it's quite bland with unimpressive power-ups and god-awful music. The stages are also quite long too, which doesn't help with the monotony of each stage. Best to avoid this one. In 1992, Comad released SS Mission, a reasonable shooter let down by the fact that it reuses the same enemy ships on every level. The game is surprisingly fun to play with nice smooth controls, good collision detection and power-ups that look the business, or at least power-ups 2 of the 4 do. The game does have issues, mind you. Sometimes your own firepower when maxed out can cover enemy projectiles, meaning you can die but not see what hit you. Also, the music can get tiresome, as each stage just uses a 30-second or less sampled loop in mono. Why do so many Korean games do that? Still, if you're after something a little obscure to play, you could do much worse than SS Mission. This is Super Duck, which was also known as Hell Out in some regions. The game is pretty basic in that you need to collect a set number of items from a maze-like stage while avoiding enemies. Enemies can be stunned by farting on them. Yep, that's right, you fart on them. But be careful, because if they touch you, you die. You can also die by falling off a platform or being hit by a projectile. After a few stages you get a boss battle, which is really awkward because you can't fire diagonally. Also, why does this octopus explode like crazy when he dies? Is he full of explosives or something? Oh, and of course, the audio is all sampled in short loops. Have you ever wanted to see Baby Herman from Who Framed Roger Rabbit appear in his own game? Well, now you can with Jump Kids. Yes, indeed, the baby is stolen from Roger Rabbit, although the main sprite doesn't look the same. The game is your typical single screen action title, but now with added jankiness. The game often gets stuck with a mid-level boss, like every enemy just staying there. There's nothing you can do apart from reset the game or wait for the timer to run out. Also, at times I noticed the normal enemies just vanish. Quite a janky title for sure. Back to the Naked Ladies with Zero Zone, a very poor Columns knockoff that reuses music from other Comad games. I don't really understand the point of these games. If you're gonna add naked ladies, at least make the images high quality. They also made a version of this game in 1994 called Las Vegas Girls. It's the same game apart from the images have been changed and the coloured boxes are now slot machine icons. You die!
Come on! Oh, yeah!
Between 1994 and 2002, Comad released a variety of games under the Fantasia name. These are basically adult versions of Quicks, a classic Taito game. Now, I've got to be very careful what I show here because unlike previous Comad games, these digitized images in the Fantasia series are pretty good for the time. The twist to these games is that if your skill level falls, the sexy lady will be replaced with a nasty image. In this game, Fantasia 2, they are changed into a horror image. In the last game, New Fantasia, which you are now seeing, the images turn into heavy overweight ladies. Thing is, this may actually turn some people on. Air Attack came out in 1996 but looks more like it should have been released back in 1992, and that's because this is just SS Mission but with aeroplanes. It's the same game apart from using different graphics, some of which look like the screenshots from SimCity. The enemy attack patterns, powered up piece system, boss attacks and so on are all the same. I'd take SS Mission over this one. Funny Bubble next, which is one of many clones of Mitchell's Puzzle Loop, only this one features naked anime girls. It also contains ripped off music, including some from Taito's Puzzle Bubble. Yeah, Comad really had no shame in ripping off other people's work, as this was in 1997. It's nice to see an unknown arcade game developer trying something new. This beach volleyball game from Comad sadly doesn't hit the spot unless you're looking for some sexy bodies to look at. The controls consist of two buttons, one volley and another to hit from a low height. The player also moves stiffly with the CPU controlling most of the ones around the net. The ball movement is also extremely slow, probably because it was too difficult for Comad to program the required AI. Snow Brothers 3 is a 2002 extensive hack of the original Snow Brothers, released by Toaplan in 1990. In the game, the player controls cream-coloured characters that loosely resemble something. Player 1 wears the national Mexico team uniform, while Player 2 wears the national South Korean team uniform. The game has no story, unlike the original game, but the gameplay remains largely the same. This game themed around the 2002 Korean-Japan World Cup and is licensed by Mexico Cerimex Games. The game uses various stolen assets throughout its stages. On stage 20, a Spawn wallpaper is used. On stage 30, the third bosses are Kako demons from the Doom series. And on stage 40, the background features Ghost Rider. The ending features women in lingerie with "Thanks No Brothers" written below. There is an alternative version of this game known as Ball Boy released in South Korea. It features a 3-player mode and doesn't have the company credited. The game's loose soccer theme was likely used to cash in on the 2012 FIFA World Cup. So there you have it, that was a load of games from the South Korean developer Comad. Yeah, I think we can say they are one dodgy company that had no respect for other companies' IPs. We didn't show all the games here, some of them cannot be emulated, and some of them are way too risky to be shown on YouTube. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next Arcade Obscure Developers. See ya!